The cameras had barely started rolling when tension filled the air, thick enough to cut with a knife. Viewers thought they had seen every scandal, every betrayal, every heart-wrenching twist Atlanta could serve up, but nothing compared to the storm about to erupt between Jasmine and Kirk. It wasn't just a whisper in the streets anymore. It wasn't a rumor slipping through gossip blogs. This time, Jasmine stood tall, bold, and unapologetic, declaring her place by Kirk's side, and the entire city felt the shockwaves. From social media timelines exploding with disbelief to cast members caught off guard in real time. It was clear, this wasn't a storyline that could be brushed under the rug. Whispers of Kirk's loyalty had always haunted him, but when Jasmine locked eyes on him during the opening mixer, the energy shifted. Cameras caught every flicker of emotion on Rashida's face. Every sideways glance from stunned friends, and every gasped reaction from the crowd watching live. No turning back, Jasmine muttered under her breath, as if claiming not just Kirk's attention, but his very future. Fans watching at home replayed the moment frame by frame, trying to decide whether it was defiance, desperation, or pure destiny that pushed Jasmine to step into the spotlight. The fallout was immediate. Twitter threads lit up. Instagram comments turned vicious. Even fellow cast members couldn't believe what they were seeing. Was Jasmine fearless or reckless? Was Kirk a willing accomplice or a man trapped in yet another love triangle nightmare? By the time producers called for a break, the damage was already done. There was no undoing what Jasmine had just set in motion. The love and hip-hop family had been shattered before, but this was about to turn Atlanta upside down. And as the world leaned closer to their screens, one thing became clear. The drama was only getting started. The night of the mixer should have been like any other love and hip-hop Atlanta event, filled with music, glitter, and camera-ready smiles. But the energy shifted the moment Jasmine walked in. She didn't slip through the side door quietly. She didn't hide in the shadows. She came through the front with her head high, her dress clinging to every curve, her eyes fixed on one target, Kirk Frost. The crowd parted like they were watching history unfold, and in a way, they were. Rashida, already tense after weeks of whispers, spotted her before Kirk did, and the look on her face was enough to send shockwaves across the room. The music kept playing, but suddenly nobody cared about the beat. Every eye was glued to Jasmine and Kirk, and the air felt thick with suspense. When Kirk finally turned and saw her, his jaw tightened in that way fans know too well, the telltale sign that trouble was brewing. Rashida stepped closer to him, possessive, protective, but Jasmine wasn't intimidated. She leaned in just enough to let the cameras catch her voice as she said, "I told you I wasn't going anywhere, and tonight I'm proving it." Gasps echoed, and even the DJ's hands slipped off the track for a second before catching back up. Fans online later said, "It felt like watching a grenade roll into the room, and everyone waiting for it to explode." The cast looked stunned. Carly Red clutched her glass, wide-eyed, whispering, "Lord, not again." While Sierra turned her phone camera toward the scene, hoping to catch every second of what was about to go down. Kirk tried to keep his composure, but Jasmine wasn't here to play games. She squared her shoulders, met Rashida's glare head-on, and said, "You've had your time, but he and I share something you'll never erase." The words sliced through the room like broken glass. Rashida fired back, "Girl, you've been chasing scraps, and scraps is all you'll ever get. My marriage doesn't need your validation." The tension was unbearable, and producers were already whispering frantically into headsets, begging the cameras not to miss a single angle. But Kirk, caught in the middle, said nothing at first, his silence speaking louder than any words. Jasmine, emboldened by his hesitation, stepped closer, almost brushing Rashida's shoulder as she leaned toward him. "Tell her," Jasmine demanded, her voice steady but laced with heat. "Tell her, I'm not just some mistake. Tell her I'm a part of your life, whether she likes it or not." Rashida's eyes widened in disbelief, the betrayal cutting deeper than she wanted to show on camera, but the cameras captured everything. Fans at home would later freeze the moment she blinked back tears, trying to decide if she was angry, hurt, or both. The crowd buzzed, whispers spreading like wildfire. Is Kirk about to admit it? Is Jasmine bluffing? Nobody could predict what would come next. The producers, sensing gold, pushed the cameras even closer, sweat shining under the lights, tension hanging so heavy it felt like the air itself might break. Finally, Kirk spoke, his voice low but firm. "Jasmine, this ain't the time or place." His words didn't deny her claim, and that was enough to set the room ablaze. Rashida whipped her head toward him, furious. So you can't even say it's a lie? After everything we've been through, after all the years I stood by you. Her voice cracked, her emotions raw and unfiltered, and the audience watching at home felt every sting of betrayal. Jasmine smirked slightly, not in triumph, but in certainty. You see, he can't deny me. He never could. The room erupted in chaos. Carly tried to step in, placing a hand on Rashida's arm, but Rashida yanked away, her pain turning into fury. You want him? Jasmine, you think claiming him tonight makes you special? You'll never have what I have with him, not in 100 years. Jasmine's eyes narrowed, her tone cutting. Maybe not, but what we have is real. And I'm tired of living in the shadows. Fans online lit up, hashtags trending within minutes, as clips from attendees' phones started leaking before the episode even finished filming. No turning back became the phrase of the night, memes flooding timelines. The internet unable to look away from the implosion happening in real time. Kirk rubbed his temples, caught between two women who defined his past and his present. But his inability to make a definitive stand only made things worse. Rashida's friends circled her, whispering that she didn't need to stand there and take this, while Jasmine's confidence only grew. This city's been waiting for me to fold, she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. But I'm still here, and I'm not going anywhere. The declaration felt less like a plea and more like a coronation, as if Jasmine was crowning herself queen of a kingdom no one wanted to share. Rashida shot back with a venom that surprised even her closest allies. You can have the man, but you'll never have the respect. Respect is earned, and you've been chasing clout from the start. Jasmine tilted her head, unfazed, as Kirk's phone buzzed relentlessly in his pocket. Fans, family, and even his kids no doubt watching the disaster unfold live. The weight of it all pressed on him, but still he said nothing. And in that silence, Jasmine found her power, while Rashida felt her world unraveling one more time. The room, once filled with laughter and music, had become a battlefield. And as the cameras zoomed in on Rashida's trembling hands and Jasmine's unflinching stare, it was clear that the night was far from over. The battlefield energy lingered long after those first words were exchanged. And though the DJ tried to pump the music louder to drown out the tension, nobody was dancing, nobody was smiling. All eyes stayed locked on the triangle of fire between Jasmine, Rashida, and Kirk. Rashida's voice trembled, not from fear but from rage ready to spill. You embarrassed me once, Kirk, and I forgave you. You dragged my name through the mud, and I stood by you. But this, letting her stand in front of me, in front of Atlanta, acting like she has a claim. That's where it ends. Jasmine folded her arms, leaning back slightly, a defiant grin painted across her face, as if every painful syllable Rashida threw at Kirk only validated her position. Kirk muttered something under his breath, but the mics caught enough. Rashida, this ain't the place. She whipped toward him, her fury uncontained. If not here, then where? Where do we handle the lies? Where do we handle the disrespect? Fans online immediately clipped the line, calling it one of Rashida's rawest on-screen moments ever. Carly read, never one to let a storm pass quietly, chimed in, listen, y'all gotta handle this, because this is about to get real ugly, and the streets are already talking. Jasmine stepped closer again, her perfume wafting over, her presence undeniable, almost suffocating. She looked Rashida dead in the eye and delivered a dagger. The street's been talking. For years, the only difference is now I'm done hiding. The tension finally snapped when Rashida's hand lifted just slightly. Her body language screaming she was about to do something she couldn't take back. Security was quick, sliding between the women before it turned physical, but the damage was already done. Fans at home went wild. Screenshots of Rashida's clenched fist flying across social media with captions like, "She was this close." The producers urged calm, but reality doesn't wait for cues. Rashida's voice cracked as she shouted past security, "You think you can replace me? You think you can erase decades, family, loyalty?" Jasmine's retort was instant, sharp as a blade. "I'm not trying to erase you, Rashida. I'm just claiming what's mine." The room gasped as if the words themselves were a slap. Even Kirk, usually calm under fire, looked shaken. His kids' names were trending within minutes. Fans, worried about how this chaos would hit home. Meanwhile, in the corner, Mimi and Erica whispered furiously, trying to piece together what they had just witnessed. "If she's bold enough to say that in front of Rashida, she got something," Mimi muttered, shaking her head. Erica sighed, "It's gonna take more than claims. Girl, Rashida, don't fold easy. Their commentary, though hushed, added fuel to the fire. Viewers loved the layers, the side conversations, the reactions from everyone in the room that painted the scene bigger than just three people. It was a family fracture happening in real time, with friends forced to pick sides. Some faces turned toward Jasmine with curiosity, others toward Rashida with loyalty. And Kirk remained stranded in the eye of the storm, silent but guilty by default. When the crowd finally broke apart, it didn't end the way producers expected. Rashida stormed out first, cameras chasing her down the hallway as she muttered through tears, "I'm done. I can't keep doing this." The rawness made fans ache for her, memes circulating within minutes that crowned her the queen of resilience. Forced to fight battles she never asked for. Back inside, Jasmine didn't back down, didn't slink away in shame. Instead, she sat herself down in one of the VIP chairs like she belonged there, sipping a drink with a smile that screamed defiance. Kirk stood frozen for a moment before sitting across from her, not beside her, his discomfort plain. That gap between them told the story better than any words could, but Jasmine leaned forward, undeterred. "You can sit across the room if you want, but you know I'm not leaving. Not tonight, not ever." Producers seized the moment, pulling Rashida aside for a confessional. Her mascara streaked down her face, her words trembling with a mix of heartbreak and rage. "Everybody got a limit, and Jasmine's trying to push me past mine. She think because she loud, because she bold, that makes her right. But let me tell you something, what Kirk and I built, she can't tear down with a stunt like this." Fans felt her pain. Hashtags like hashtag Team RASHEEDA and hashtag Protect Black Love flooding feeds. But others sided with Jasmine, praising her courage for owning her truth. The split was immediate, the fanbase divided, each side ready for war. Back in the VIP, Kirk finally spoke with a weary sigh, his voice breaking under the weight. "Jasmine, you don't know what you just started. This ain't just between you and Rashida. This is gonna blow up everything." She leaned back, her smirk unwavering. "Good, let it blow. I'm tired of hiding, tired of sneaking around. If she wants to fight, let her fight. I'm ready." Kirk rubbed his forehead, visibly conflicted, torn between the family he built and the chaos Jasmine promised. The cameras zoomed in, catching every drop of sweat, every flicker of doubt, every shadow crossing his face. As the night spiraled, word spread beyond the mixer. Phones buzzed with notifications. Cast members who weren't even there started weighing in on Instagram Live. Fans outside the venue started chanting for updates. By midnight, Jasmine's bold move had already reshaped the narrative of the season. No one cared about old storylines anymore. This was the headline, this was the scandal, this was the train wreck no one could turn away from. The producers, smelling ratings gold, leaned into it, arranging for an emergency sit-down the following day. They wanted answers, confessions, fireworks, and with tensions this raw, they knew they would get it. But even they didn't anticipate how far Jasmine was willing to go. Rumors spread overnight that she had receipts, text messages, photos, even videos that could shatter whatever illusions Kirk and Rashida tried to maintain. Fans speculated endlessly, timelines flooded with theories. Every corner of Atlanta buzzing with one question: was Jasmine bluffing, or was she about to detonate a bomb that no one could clean up? The next morning, as dawn broke over the city, social media was already ablaze. Jasmine posted a cryptic message on her Instagram story: "The truth doesn't hide forever. No turning back." Within minutes, it was reposted thousands of times. Her name trending alongside Kirk's and Rashida's. The war had officially left the mixer and taken over the streets. And Atlanta was bracing for the explosion that was still to come. By mid-afternoon, the tension that had begun at the mixer had evolved into a full-blown spectacle. The streets of Atlanta buzzed with speculation, and fans weren't just talking, they were organizing, sharing clips, screenshots, and live-stream reactions as though they were witnesses to a historic event. Kirk's phone wouldn't stop ringing, notifications exploding every few seconds, each message a reminder that the public was now as involved as the cast itself. Jasmine, fully aware of the chaos she had unleashed, leaned into it, posting carefully crafted videos of herself walking through the city, seemingly unaffected, each step a statement, each glance a challenge. Her followers exploded in numbers, her hashtag trending nationwide. As the narrative of boldness, defiance, and unflinching ambition dominated screens everywhere. Meanwhile, Rashida, recovering from her public meltdown, retreated to her home. But privacy was a mirage. Paparazzi had already surrounded the neighborhood, cameras trained like hawks, capturing every tear, every gesture of frustration, every moment of vulnerability. Her confessional later that evening was raw and unfiltered. I have loved, I have sacrificed, I have bled for this man, and now to have someone just walk in and stake a claim, well, I don't even know where to begin, but I promise you, I won't be erased. Fans rallied around her, solidarity comments pouring in, each one echoing the pain of betrayal, the fury of watching a family fractured live on camera. The following day brought a twist nobody expected. Kirk, who had been silent and seemingly paralyzed by the chaos, called an emergency cast meeting, insisting on clearing the air. As the cameras rolled, the room was thick with tension, each cast member on edge, sensing a confrontation that could either heal wounds or deepen them beyond repair. Jasmine arrived first, her demeanor calm, almost predatory, the energy of someone fully in control, ready to exploit the cracks in the armor of everyone else in the room. Rashida stormed in seconds later, eyes blazing, arms crossed. Not a word needing to be exchanged for the room to feel the weight of history, betrayal, and rage colliding all at once. We're done tiptoeing around this, Kirk began, voice steady but tense, eyes darting between the two women who had appended his life. Everyone deserves to say their piece, but let's be clear, this is real life, not a storyline we can edit in post. Jasmine didn't flinch, her voice calm but laced with fire. I've said my piece. I'm here, I'm present, and I'm not leaving. The rest is on him. The words hung like a noose in the room, each syllable carrying weight, each glance a silent accusation. Rashida's friends, Mimi and Carly, exchanged knowing looks, sensing the inevitable eruption. Rashida's hand shot up, pointing directly at Jasmine. You think confidence is enough? You think flashing smiles and social media posts are going to rewrite years of loyalty? You're playing with fire, and you have no idea what you've started. Jasmine leaned forward, her gaze unwavering, almost daring Rashida to lash out. Maybe I am playing with fire, but maybe I'm the spark she's been ignoring. He's mine too, and it's time Atlanta knows it. The meeting devolved rapidly, accusations flying like daggers. Kirk's attempts to mediate were futile. Every attempt at reasoning was drowned by Jasmine's persistence and Rashida's fury. Voices rose, tempers flared, and the cameras captured every second. You don't understand him the way I do, Rashida yelled, her tears finally breaking free, streaming down her face. You never will. Jasmine's response was chillingly calm. Maybe not, but I understand enough to know he deserves more than what's been given to him, and more than you're willing to admit. The room gasped. Even the crew, usually invisible behind the cameras, felt the tension tighten around their throats. Fans watching at home were glued, split between defending Rashida's decades of loyalty and cheering Jasmine's audacity. The comment sections on social media became war zones, with each side dissecting every phrase, every facial expression, and every pause as if the fate of Atlanta itself rested in these words. But the drama didn't stop at verbal confrontations. Midway through the meeting, Kirk received a text that sent a new wave of tension through the room. His eyes widened, jaw tightening as he read the message. Jasmine noticed immediately, leaning slightly over his shoulder, curiosity glinting in her eyes. Rashida's instinct to protect him flared instantly. Who is it? She demanded, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and fury. Kirk hesitated, caught between the truth and the storm it could unleash. Finally, he muttered, it's someone from the other side of things. A friend. Saying some things you might not want to hear. Jasmine's eyes lit up, sensing the perfect opening to further unsettle the room. Oh, care to share? Or is this another secret you've been keeping, Rashida? Rashida's face went pale, the tension multiplying, and the meeting's atmosphere became electric. Every cast member leaned forward, sensing a revelation that would either escalate the chaos or shatter alliances completely. Carly and Mimi exchanged panicked looks, realizing that nothing from here on would be predictable. Hours passed, and what was meant to be a clarifying session turned into an all-out emotional battlefield. Words that cut deep, secrets threatened to spill, and alliances shifted mid-sentence. Fans online were treated to what they called the most intense series of reactions in love and hip-hop history. Every frame uploaded by social media influencers caught in the meeting went viral instantly. He's hiding something, one fan wrote. Rashida's about to lose it. Jasmine is untouchable, another declared. She's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. By the end of the day, no one had left unscathed. Rashida retreated once again, exhausted and emotionally drained, while Jasmine, ever calculated, maintained an aura of control that made her feel untouchable, unstoppable, and undeniably central to the story. Kirk, meanwhile, sat silently, the weight of every accusation, every glare, and every whispered speculation pressing on him, knowing that any decision now would reverberate far beyond the confines of the meeting room. As evening fell, the media vultures arrived. Paparazzi and bloggers had been tipped off about the confrontation, and footage of the day's meeting was already spreading, distorted and dramatized for maximum effect. Headlines exploded: Jasmine versus Raseda, Atlanta explodes in love and hip-hop scandal, and Kirk caught in crossfire. Who will win his heart? Fans devoured every piece of content, creating memes, GIFs, and reaction videos within hours. The narrative was no longer just the story of a love triangle. It had become a citywide obsession. In interviews later that night, Jasmine remained unshaken. "I'm not here to hurt anyone," she said, her tone calm, almost serene, yet every word was loaded with intensity. "I'm here to claim my truth. If it shakes up the world, so be it." Meanwhile, Rashida's confessional showed her vulnerability, exhaustion, and anger, her voice trembling. "I don't know how much more I can take. But I'll fight, because this isn't just about a man. It's about respect, love, and loyalty. And nobody can take that from me without a fight." As part 3 of this saga unfolded, it became painfully clear to fans and cast alike that the drama had shifted from personal confrontation to a public spectacle of unprecedented magnitude. Every glance, every word, every minor gesture was being scrutinized, analyzed, and shared thousands of times. The season's storyline had been rewritten in a matter of hours. The dynamics of alliances and rivalries forever changed, and Atlanta itself seemed to pulse with anticipation for what would happen next. The players on this stage, Jasmine, Rashida, and Kirk, were no longer just characters in a reality show. They had become symbols of ambition, betrayal, and the raw, unfiltered power of human emotion, and the question on everyone's mind was no longer whether the triangle could survive, but who would emerge from the wreckage stronger, bolder, and unscathed. The storm that had begun at the mixer and intensified through the day now reached a fever pitch as evening fell over Atlanta, the city itself seeming to hold its breath, knowing something unprecedented was unfolding on camera and off. Kirk sat in his office, the weight of both women's expectations pressing down on him, messages and notifications from fans and family blinking relentlessly on his phone as he tried to process the emotional chaos he was trapped in. Jasmine, fully aware of the effect her presence had unleashed, paced with a controlled intensity, a strategic smile tugging at her lips, as if every calculated move she made would dismantle the walls Rashida had built around Kirk and their life. Together, Rashida, in contrast, had rallied her inner circle, friends, and confidants, meeting in a private space filled with cameras to ensure her side of the story was documented. Every tear and every gesture caught with painstaking care to preserve her dignity, even as she prepared to confront Jasmine again. When the cameras finally rolled for the evening confrontation, it was clear that no one, not Kirk, not Rashida, and certainly not Jasmine, would emerge unscathed. The tension was palpable, electric, almost tangible, and the room felt smaller than it should have, as if the walls themselves were pressing in to witness the emotional earthquake about to strike. Jasmine approached, her heels clicking against the polished floor, each step a punctuation mark in the drama unfolding, her eyes locked on Rashida with unwavering confidence, daring her to challenge the inevitable. Rashida, her expression a mixture of exhaustion and defiance, met Jasmine's gaze, her hands shaking slightly but her voice steady enough to cut through the room. "I've tolerated lies. I've tolerated games, and I've tolerated disrespect. But this? Walking in here like you own the air I breathe. This ends now." Jasmine, never missing a beat, tilted her head slightly and responded, "Ends now? No, darling. This is where it begins. You've had your turn, your reign, your narrative. Now it's mine, and I'm not apologizing for taking what I deserve." Kirk tried to intervene, his voice shaking as he attempted to mediate, but his words fell flat against the tidal wave of raw emotion crashing between the two women. "Stop it, both of you, please. We don't have to do this like this," he pleaded, his eyes darting from one to the other, but both women ignored him, their focus laser-sharp, their grievances too deep and long-standing to be quelled by simple reasoning. The cameras rolled, capturing every nuance, every breath, every microexpression broadcasting the conflict not just to the room but to thousands of viewers who were already glued to social media feeds. Hashtags trending, clips going viral within seconds. Jasmine leaned in, almost whispering yet perfectly audible. You think he belongs to you alone. You think loyalty is a shield. No, it's not. He deserves the truth. He deserves me. Rashida's response was instantaneous and ferocious. The truth. The truth is you don't care about anyone but yourself. You're a storm with no respect, and I'm not standing here to watch you destroy what we built. The tension ratcheted higher as Carly read the storyline, their cheers or boos dictating who felt validated. Until Kirk realized he wasn't just in a love triangle, he was in a trial by fire where every choice was a verdict and every hesitation a crime. And when he tried to retreat into silence, hoping time would dull the frenzy, Jasmine refused to let him disappear, posting cryptic captions, appearing at events uninvited, making sure the cameras always found her by his side, and Rashida, fighting not just for her marriage but for her dignity, rallied her friends, her family, her fans, turning her pain into a weapon, showing strength in her vulnerability. But even that strength was tested when leaked audio surfaced an argument, caught on someone's phone where Kirk's voice cracked as he said, "I don't know how it got this far," and Jasmine's sharp reply cut like a blade. "It got this far because you let me in, and now you don't get to shut me out." Which spread online like wildfire, dissected in podcasts, replayed in TikToks, and though Kirk tried to dismiss it as out of context, no one bought it. And the cracks widened, the show no longer entertainment but a battleground where reputations, marriages, and futures hung in the balance. And as episodes aired, fans noticed the small details that told bigger truths, the way Rashida's smile faltered when Kirk touched her hand, the way Jasmine's eyes darted to him even when others were speaking, the way Kirk's shoulders slumped under the weight of expectation, all weaving into a narrative of inevitability. That whether anyone liked it or not, Jasmine had claimed her place and Kirk had let her, leaving Rashida caught between fighting for what she built or walking away from a man who could never choose. And while the city buzzed with speculation, the cast whispered about the next reunion taping, knowing it would be explosive, with alliances already forming, betrayals already brewing, and secrets yet to surface, because behind the scenes there were messages, receipts and confessions waiting to be revealed. And fans braced themselves for the storm, knowing the words Jasmine had spoken, no turning back, were not just a moment but a prophecy, one that promised the story was far from over and that every new episode would peel back another layer until nothing was left but raw, unfiltered truth, no matter how devastating. And just like that, the dust settles only to rise again, because in the world of love and hip-hop Atlanta there are never clean endings, only cliffhangers that pull you deeper into the storm. Jasmine has made her move, Kirk has stumbled into the spotlight with her, and Rashida stands at a crossroads where pride, love, and betrayal collide. Fans are left replaying every scene, dissecting every glance, every whispered word, asking themselves the same questions. Was Jasmine bold or reckless? Was Kirk weak or simply caught between two women who refused to back down? And most of all, can Rashida ever forgive? Or is this the chapter where she finally turns the page for good? You saw the drama, you felt the tension, and you witnessed emotions run so high they nearly tore families apart. But the truth is, this is just the beginning. Behind the cameras, behind the lights, there are conversations we haven't heard, secrets we haven't seen, and choices that will decide everything. The only guarantee is that there's no turning back, because once lines are crossed, they can't be erased. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Should Jasmine be celebrated for claiming her spot or condemned for crossing the line? Should Kirk fight for the family he already built or surrender to the firestorm he helped ignite? And do you believe Rashida deserves better? Or is love worth the struggle no matter how messy it gets? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because your voice shapes the story just as much as theirs. If you're ready for the next twist, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for every shocking update, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss the next eruption in this Atlanta saga. This isn't just reality TV, it's a cultural earthquake, and you're right at the center of it. Stay tuned because the story is far from finished, and trust me, the best or the worst are still to come.